Okay, here's a interesting post for this week. So a few weeks ago, I would have never thought about, nor was I planning on working on a 3/4 scale Atlantic steam engine. I do live steam stuff, as you can see, my Baldwin diesel locomotive I'm working on. Uh, but that's 7 1/4 inch and a half scale. This is here is 3/4 scale, 3.5 gauge. Pretty small, but not that small. So anyway, my live steam club was set up at Cabin Fever a couple weeks ago. We had a table set up, and I'm standing there talking to a couple people, and this guy walks up to me with a box, and that was in it too, and said, "Is this your train club?" And I said, "Yeah." So he says, "Well, I'd like to give this a home. I want to get rid of it." And I was like, "What do you want for it?" He says, "I just wanted to have a new home." Shakes my hand and sets the box down and walks away. So not only did I get this is a Friends Atlantic 3/4 scale Friends Atlantic steam engine project. Looks as though it was sitting in a puddle for a while. This driver is totally rusted. Corner of the frame like it sat in a puddle or something for a very long time. Also, the good drivers are slightly machined a little too much. They look like pizza cutters. So anyway, this was in the box for free. Like I said, it's a 3/4 scale Friends Atlantic. Also, all this other goodies came in the box. Some of it's rusty. Well, it's all rusty. Some of it's usable, some it's not. So I make a post, start talking to some friends, and within a couple days later, I get, for just a few $100, I get this half-started Friends Atlantic. Here. Front truck's done. Cylinders are mostly done. Frame looks nice. Pretty decent looking project. Also came in a box with more parts. So I post on a Facebook group about looking for anybody have drawings or whatever. Also, that other one there, that came with a set of drawings too, which is nice. But I basically said, anybody, and you still get parts for Friends Atlantic? Is there any support for it? Any parts? I got in touch with Yankee Machining or Yankee Models, whatever, who currently still makes parts for them. I was in touch with the guy who does that. And another guy posted on the page that he has parts too. So for like another $100, I got more valve gear parts, more castings, another set of mostly done cylinders. So within a couple weeks' time, I got myself into this project. Never planned on it, but I don't know. It's talking to me, and I've always wanted to build a steam engine in this hobby. So I think what I'm going to do, because the trucks sit under here, almost like they sit underneath there, and the frame's cut out for them. Well, even though this frame looks newer and looks nicer, the cut parts for the trucks aren't exactly cut right in the front. Like the wheel wouldn't line up right. I could probably machine the bottom of the frame and make it work, but that and the way those two holes are drilled for that piece, I had to weld the holes shut and re-drill them. I wanted to use this pilot. So what I'm thinking is, I'm actually thinking about using this frame here, using this rusty frame, because it seems a little bit more accurate. I'll take it apart, blast it real good, and use that. And then use, of course, those trucks for the lead trucks and these drivers axles, journals, drivers, use all this from this engine, from this frame. These are in nice shape. Like I said, use those and then build off of that frame. And I think that's where I'm going. I think that's where I'm leaning towards for right now. And of course, like I said, there's other parts. I'm going to still need more parts, and I got to find a boiler and all that other stuff. But it's kind of here. It's a good start, and within 2 weeks, I got myself a collection of enough stuff to get going with this for very little money, which is what I like. I like affordability. So there's no parts for the tender, so I got to definitely work on the tender. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, part of me wants to keep building off of this one because this is prettier. But like I said, this part here isn't cut right, and he has 2 holes here. So I'd have to probably weld those shut and re-drill them. I wanted to use this pilot. But it also becomes more of a challenge building a complete engine from this rusty mess here. But it's kind of interesting. I mean, I think three-quarter scale, or three-quarter scale, I think is pretty cool, actually. I think it's neat. It's kind of where it started, the hobby started at. 3/4 and 1 inch was the basic for many years. And then 1.5 scale like that beast. That's gonna be a Baldwin DS44750. It's mostly done. Everything's mostly done on it. It's almost ready to run. The shell, the body's sitting inside the bay. That needs a little bit of detail work, but that's basically it. So I gotta find a boiler. This is basically going to be a slow back burner kind of work on it as I go kind of project, because I got other stuff to do and not really a machinist. Well, actually, I'm not a machinist. I know enough to turn it on and make some chips, but maybe some of the parts that aren't too crucial, I'll come up here and work on myself, but with some help. But a lot of the valve gear and all that stuff is here. Like I said, I got 2 sets of cylinders. One that came with those parts, and one that came with the other frame. Both sets are mostly done, but none of them are completely finished. So, but like I said, it's a Friends Atlantic. I guess I forget the guy's name. His last name is Friends. Started building these in the 40s, like 42. I think the blueprints say when they were drawn up. I think it was 1942. And I don't know. I mean, I think for what I got invested in it, I'm pretty far, pretty well ahead of the game as far as I care. I mean, if I would have probably had to pay someone to do the cylinders, pay someone to do the drivers, and most of it, so it'd be a lot of money. People often say, you can't build it for that. Well, people don't like that saying, especially in the car world. When someone's trying to sell something for a lot of money or something, and somebody always says, well, you can't build it for that, which is oftentimes, especially nowadays, very, very true. But some people, they get their nose all twisted over that one. Oh, here comes the you can't build it for that crap. Well, it's the truth. I mean, if I would have bought all these castings and actually paid somebody to machine them, and like I said, everything in this bag, as far as I know, I don't think any of these parts are machined yet. But either way, if I would have bought all this stuff and paid somebody to get just that front truck alone, just the lead truck alone, just to get it to where it's at, it would be way more than what I paid for what you see sitting here. So you can't build it for that theory. As much as some people hate hearing it, it's the truth. It's oftentimes the absolute truth. Especially like when you build a custom car or a restored car. You got a 65 Mustang, somebody wants 45,000 for, or 30,000, and it's in nice shape. Nowadays, you got about 15, 20 grand just in paint and body alone. So, anyway, maybe what I'll do is as I get further along or I start figuring out what I'm doing with these, maybe I'll start making add this to some of my YouTube videos along with my flyer builds and some full-scale train stuff and whatever else. But yeah, I don't know. I figured I would just show this, and maybe this will be one of the next series of stuff I do here. It'll be a slow one because, like I said, it involves quite a bit, and it's a lot of stuff above my skill. I mean, I built that from scratch, and that and everything else I have rolling stock wise, I built from scratch. But like I said, I'm no machinist, so I want to learn as I go, and you know, this will get done when it's done. But what's cool about it, I don't even know. I don't think this was a casting they could have bought. Well, it's not a casting, obviously it's machined. But that's the axle pump. I don't know how much it needs inside of it internally, like gut-wise, but it's in there and it's done. It's going to come out. But like I said, well, if I'm going to use this, I'm not using any of these drivers. I'm not using the journals or axles. None of that's getting used. I'm going to use it all from this one here. But this frame's going to get taken apart and sandblasted. It's also going to be kind of, you know, if I ever run into the guy some years down the road, or even maybe if we're at Cabin Fever next year and I have this, you know, whatever point of assembly this is at, I'll take it, have it at our table, and he'll come by and see it. I don't know. But anyway, so this is my 3/4 scale Atlantic project that I kind of walked into, or I guess you could say kind of found me, I guess you could say. So, all right, well, talk to you next time.